Hi, this is Keith Clark from My Digital Medium, and today we put up a video called Ask a Question. I had the idea of giving people, such as yourself, the opportunity to ask questions, and I didn't know what I was asking for, getting myself into. So it becomes clear now that I have said that I will assist with answers to questions. I'm in a position to where I need to help find answers. By doing so, I will learn a lot myself. I would like to start first by saying that anything I reply with in these videos is only an intelligent summary or conclusion based on the things that I've seen, heard, learned, read, or experienced personally. So that being said, the other thing that I will do is, instead of trying to claim to be an expert on life after death, which I am most certainly not, I only have a high-level view of the things which I need to know, like most people. Instead of proclaiming to be that, I would like to show you how to find the resources for the answers to your question. So today we had Sarah ask a question saying, I'd love to know, if you die when you are young, are you still the same in the afterlife? And so, looking at the question, the assumption here is that we're speaking of children or a particular age. Are you still the same in the afterlife? So my first answer, and this is completely unconventional. Normally I could just begin talking as if I have all the answers. I don't. I would say if you go to Google and you search, the terms you would want to use are children in the afterlife and children grow up in the afterlife. Now before you say, oh man, that's cheesy, he didn't give me an answer, I will continue. When you type that into Google, children in the afterlife, you will find different resources, pages upon pages of resources. And so we just looked at the first couple. First one is an article by someone on their blog. It says that one of three different things happen. And it's saying there are three possible scenarios. And they end up by saying they have not always been able to figure out a solid answer. Okay, before we proceed, there's one point I would like to make. The first thing we need to clear up is there is not just one afterlife, one situation, one vibration, one dimension that we can all refer to and say that everything in that vibration is the same. What I mean by that is there is nobody that has all the answers, and all the answers will not always be the same. They will vary dependent upon the conditions. There may be natural laws which dictate that certain things in that physical vibration must adhere to some rules. However, when you hear personal testimony of people from the other side, you will hear a varying range of stories which sometimes will differ and contradict. And the reason is because everything is not always black and white. So moving on, I saw a couple other links, and there's one here called at afterlife101.com, and they give some more information in detail from their experience about children. We saw another blog in which a person, I don't know any of these people, by the way. We don't do advertising. We don't really believe in favoritism. We simply look and see, when you look at somebody's answers, look and see what is their motive. Look and see how did they answer. Did they answer from a place of selflessness? Did they answer with logic? Did they answer citing sources? What do they have that led them to believe what it is they are presenting? Okay, so in this one, this particular page, I liked it because they're essentially saying that when a child transitions, they begin growing up and developing just as they would here. Now I'm going to jump from here and give you a lot of information that I have heard myself. These are things that I do know. I do know that in physical mediumship seances, there are always children present. I do know that when there are stillborn children or children that die in the womb or other situations that are very similar to that. For example, I myself had was pregnant with twins at a younger age. Those children miscarried, and it's very common for miscarried children to come through in readings and through other avenues of connection with their parents later on, which surprises some people. But let's not get too far into that. We also know, if you look at worlditc.org, that it is stated from different personalities who have transitioned, in their own words, they say that they appear to be in their prime. And so, if you go through the internet, you could spend probably months just researching this one single topic, and I am not the best resource, but I would give you some food for thought. Here's how I think of it. What is the difference between an old person and a young person? Time. And so if there is no time in the spirit world as we know it here on the physical plane, then there is no difference between old and young. The only thing that a person has is their vibration, which is recognizable and distinct. So the final answer that I'm going to give to the question, if you die when you are young, are you still the same in the afterlife? I would say that's going to depend on the conditions and your perception. For example, if you want to communicate with a child that has transitioned, it is likely that you're going to remember them as they were. And in that case, the situation would probably apply that they would be as you remember them. There are other reverse situations where there are people that are older that come through an ITC. And it continues to get more complicated. If everybody's young if everybody is at a prime age, let's say whatever that may be, 20s, or if children in spirit grew up to be in their late 20s, and if elderly people who have transitioned appear as if they are younger or in their prime, then why are there also people that appear in ITC in other forms as they were last known to be on Earth? In physical mediumship, they appear as they were last known to be on Earth. In ITC pictures, they will typically be, sometimes they'll be as you remember them. So I would say that it's all in the perception, that age is irrelevant. It's the vibration of the person. So the question as to whether a person will still be a child, I believe, should be looked at, or could be looked at, from the perspective of that child's energy is still existent as it always was and it always will be, ever present and familiar and connected to you. So that is my, I'll always have a short answer and a long answer. The short answer is it depends on the circumstances. From my perspective, as a calculated, educated guess from what information I have available to me at this time. The long answer is perspective also matters, and in the big picture, age does not matter because there is no time. Therefore, age is only, it's irrelevant, essentially. I hope that answered your question. I will say that if you have not subscribed to the Victor Zammit newsletter, There are people that ask these types of questions every day, and they have been answering them for years. I do know them. I am personally associated with them, and I would say that one day I would hope to have half the knowledge that has been presented by the Zamits and the people that they know and associate with. But my answer has already been given, and I hope that helped. Thank you.